What's up, everybody? Day 2 of the NFL Draft is just a few hours away, and I thought I'd just throw out 5 predictions for what's going to happen in rounds 2 and 3. Just throwing some darts at the wall. Appreciate you for tuning in to 4 Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I think Shedeur Sanders is going to fall to the 3rd round. And it's not because I don't think he's a decent prospect. I do. I just think for whatever reason, he's rubbed some teams the wrong way, and I think his attitude has rubbed people the wrong way, considering he's not like a true round 1 grade, right? Like, he's probably a late first to mid-late second type of player in 2025. Historically, he's probably more like a second-round pick. Like, you think like 15 years ago, Andy Dalton, 35 overall. Like, that's a comp I like for Shedeur. Not the best athlete, not the strongest arm, but can play the quick game well, decent enough mover. I think he can be a starter in the NFL, but probably never a top 10 guy. I think Pittsburgh, there's been a lot of smoke there. They didn't take him at 21. I think he could get to 83, and if he's there, and if you're Pittsburgh, even if you're not in love with him, in the 3rd round, it's probably worth the swing because this Aaron Rodgers thing is still up in the air. Mason Rudolph cannot be the guy you trot out there in week 1, or at least for very long. If you draft Shedeur, even if you start Mason early, you could pivot pretty quick. So I'm going to predict that Sanders falls to the 3rd round, goes to Pittsburgh, and listen, obviously you lose a lot of money not being a first-round pick going to the 3rd round, but you still have a chance to start week 1. Could be a humbling opportunity for him and a chance to play early this year. Which team do you guys think will draft Shedeur Sanders? You got the Browns starting the draft today with pick 33. They also have 36. The Saints could be a team that considers it as well. Does a team like the Rams or another team with a veteran starter consider bringing in Shedeur, sit for a year or two, and then take over in a couple of years? Maybe that's on the table, but it's not going to be the Giants because they're now off the board. Going to be very interesting. Okay, how about this? I think Trey Hendrickson gets traded. I'm not going to act like it's more likely than not that it happens today, but I just think that when it's all said and done, and I've thought this from the beginning, are the Bengals really a team who's historically cheap going to pay Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson in the same offseason? I'll believe it when I see it, and it hasn't happened yet. These are 5 teams that I could see it. The Rams, there's been a rumor on that. They now have the 46th pick after that trade with the Falcons yesterday. Like, if you're LA, hey, we'll give you 46 for Trey Hendrickson. Maybe throw us a 5th back or something like that. If I'm the Rams, I'm trying to go all in on Stafford this year. They picked up the extra first next year in that trade down with Atlanta. They could take a QB then. So I like that fit. Washington has been aggressive this offseason in acquiring talent. They still have a lot of cap space. The Bills could be a team that makes sense. Philadelphia, they're always poking around. I thought they might go edge in round 1. They didn't, so maybe they would consider Trey Hendrickson. How about Tampa? Tampa's offense is loaded. They added another receiver. They could use another dude on defense. You add Hendrickson to that team. If they're healthy on defense, Todd Bowles calling the defense, it's a pretty complete football team if they add, a 12, 15 sack guy in Trey Hendrickson. Plus, Cincinnati drafted Shamar Stewart, who I don't love, but clearly they like him a lot, and they probably view him as a guy who could be a key pass rusher for years to come. So maybe they just pivot off of Trey Hendrickson, get some draft capital, and move on. Again, I'll believe it when I see it if they're going to pay 3 guys major money in the same offseason. Okay, Luther Burden, one of the best players available, a player who I think is worthy of being a first-round pick. Obviously, he didn't go in the first round, but pretty electric with the ball in his hands out of Missouri. I have him going to the Titans. I just think if you're Tennessee, you've already invested in Cam Ward. You just added Tyler Lockett, who's really more of a 3 at this point in his career. They have Calvin Ridley. Add Luther Burden to the fold. And that's a pretty intriguing trio, right? Burden's gotten some DJ Moore comps. I know Titans fans are probably a little scared of Treylon Burks. Is this Treylon Burks 2.0? Burden's a much more fluid athlete, in my opinion. He's faster. He can do some different things for you. Get Cam Ward a weapon that you can just generate easy completions with, too. You don't even need Burden to run like the full route tree, just like quick screens, shovel passes, jet sweeps, kick returner. Like, this is a guy you can get 10, 12 touches a game if you use him properly. Brian Callahan being an offensive coach, I like that type of fit. I think there's a lot of teams in the mid, late 30s that are going to look to add him, and Tennessee sitting there at 35 to pair him with Cam Ward. I just think there's a lot of reason to do that. Okay, we will have our day 2 reaction video tonight. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to our day 1 reaction late last night or early this morning. We appreciate it, and tune in tonight. So turn on those notifications. That way you know exactly when that video drops. After you subscribe, got to subscribe first to hit that notification bell. Okay, a couple more here. How about Mike Green to Dallas? Look, I think the NFL told you last night teams were not comfortable taking him in the first round with the sexual assault allegations. Don't blame them. It's a very serious matter. What is the truth? I don't know. I wasn't there. These teams, they do a lot of research, background info on these guys. They talk to people around them. I thought he was a top 10, and as a player, I still think he's a top 10, top 12 player in this draft. But clearly teams weren't going to take him high. I have to assume he's going to get drafted today. If he doesn't get drafted today, I wonder if he gets drafted at all. Because at some point it's like, well, teams are kind of telling you he's not on their board. Dallas historically, and in the last few years they haven't done this, but historically have taken swings like this in the second round over the years. I mean, you think about Randy Gregory back when he was coming out of Nebraska. He had some red flags, ended up being a solid player for Dallas. Mike Green, if he's right and locked in, I mean, I think he's one of the more dynamic pass rushers in this draft. I think you could make a strong argument he's the second best pure edge rusher in the draft. Dallas has gambled in the second round before. Not as much in recent years, but they have done this in the past. I would not be shocked. And if he hits, I mean, you could be getting a first-round talent in the middle of the second round. Okay, how about this? Jalen Milroe to the Seahawks. You know, the quarterback domino thing is going to be pretty interesting today because Pittsburgh still doesn't have a guy. The Saints with the whole Derek Carr dilemma, that's interesting. I think Milroe there could be a potential fit, but if they need someone to play right away, someone like Tyler Shuck or even Kyle McCord probably makes more sense for New Orleans. But the Seahawks, who signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year deal, but it's really a 1-year plus 2. Like, if they bring in Jalen Milroe and they like what they see after a year in practice, and if Darnold didn't have a great year, they could pivot and go to Milroe as soon as 2026. Seattle has that extra second-round pick they got in the DK Metcalf trade with Pittsburgh, so they could take him at 50 or 52. Maybe he falls to the third round. They take him there as well. They got 4 picks today. Look, he's raw as a pure quarterback, no doubt about it. He's got a long way to go, footwork, pocket movement, all that stuff. But it's not an exaggeration when you hear these NFL evaluators say he is the best running quarterback prospect we've ever seen. That includes the likes of Michael Vick. That includes the likes of Cam Newton, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson. Now, whether or not that's true, regardless, he's in that conversation at minimum. He's got a rocket arm. Again, mechanical things. Probably would like to shorten his release a little bit, but the tools are there. There's a world that exists where he becomes the best quarterback in this draft class. And, you know, the thing about Seattle, too, the reason I like the fit, one, to me, he's no real threat to unseat Sam Darnold this year because he needs to sit and develop. But two, you could still get something out of him. Like, you could create a package with him right now and use him as a wildcat quarterback, occasionally throw with him. You can line him up at running back occasionally if you wanted to as well. I'm very interested to see who takes Seattle. And Clint Kubiak I view as a pretty smart offensive coordinator. So I think that could be an interesting fit both in the short term and in the long term. Okay, give me a bold prediction for day 2. Drop something down in the comments today. Like, throw something on the wall and see if it sticks. Let me know in the comments right now. My name is Harrison Graham. Enjoy the draft tonight. Our main Chat Sports YouTube channel will be live. If you want to go check out pick-by-pick analysis, I'll be live on our Bears YouTube channel. So come check that out as well if you're interested. And we'll see you guys tonight with our day 2 reaction video. Peace.